So hello everyone, welcome to this new section of our class where we are going to be talking about data type. So in the first class, which is day one of our JavaScript tutorial, we talk about how to create a variable, some of the naming convention, and how you can use let and const. So in today's class is going to be a bit long because we are going to be talking about data type. And in data type we are going to be specific, start with number data type. So we are going to talk about number data type. So in JavaScript, basically we have two main types of, let me write them in the comments. In JavaScript, okay, I will just say there are two types of data types in JavaScript. That's actually what I want. So primitive data type and non-primitive data type. This is what we have. So what are primitive data type? We are going to see them right now. So I was just going to accept all this. So let me first explain what this primitive data type is. As you see, primitive data type in JavaScript are data type that if we try to modify the string or something inside them, JavaScript is going to throw an error for us. So you can't modify something inside primitive data type. So let me give an example what I mean. Let's say, for example, I have a word. I have something called let's say word equal to hello. Yes. So if I have word equal to hello and I say, okay, now let me try to change something inside it. For example, I'll say word rush 0, which is h. This will not change the string as you are seeing. So if I have this thing like hello, and then now I access the first element inside this string, which is h, so this will not change the string. A string are immutable. So that is what we are going to get in our in our console. So we can't change this thing. The reason why is that primitive data type are compare values with what? They compare values with not reference but the, I forgot what I'm trying to say, but I'll explain it in the video if we are continue moving. So this is what I'm trying to say. You can't change primitive data type are immutable, right? What I mean by immutable is something that you cannot change. So primitive data type are immutable data types. Once primitive data type is created, cannot be modified. So if we try to string, if we try to modify the string in variable, this word that we're talking about, JavaScript will raise an error. So that's that. So let me try continue moving. So let's say, for example, now I also have a variable called number equal to 10. The number also, this one will not change the value, right? It's not going to change the value. This will change the value, of course. So that is not what I want. And I also have let's number, but this one I'll call it 2 equal to 20. So if I have these two numbers right now, for example, if I have these two numbers right now and I say console.log console log console.log. Oh, I even made a mistake here. It's number, not. Yes, so that is what I want. Number. So let's say I have this number 1 number is equal to this. Output is false because 10 is not equal to 20. As we have seen, 10 is not equal to 20. So let me close this thing so that we can see everything clearly. So 10, now false, 10 is not equal to 20. So this is what we get, right? And but because 10 is not strictly equal to 20, so I'm not going to do that. You are going to understand what is this equal sign means in the video. So let's say I also have a text, some text again, like JS equal to JavaScript, and I'll say Python equal to Python. So also get what consider log j is equal to this. I'm not going to use this strict equal sign, but I'm going to use the equality, which is this. J is equal to phi, output false because JavaScript is not equal to Python. So this is what we get. Actually, so let's move on to the class. So if you don't understand what this is all about, make sure to leave a comment and ask. So non-primitive data type. Let us start with primitive non-primitive data type. So this is all about primitive data type, as you are seeing. So primitive data types, we have a string, then what we have number, you have boolean, you have null, you have undefined, you have symbol, something unique, right? So like this. This is undefined because we did not assign anything to it. We just, declare it, but we did not assign anything. But here, if you want to create something or declare a variable, you have to create it and then assign something to it. So this is what we did. So this thing, you can't change the primitive data type because it's going to throw an error, right? As you are seeing, let me say I'm going to even store 10 here. So it's num10, num1, and num10. You see, I store the same value, and in this case the output is going to be true because this is called to this, right? So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave it like this. All right, so let us continue. So these non-primitive data types are modifiable, which is mutable. We can modify the value of non-primitive data types after it gets created. Let us see creating an array. An array is a list of data values in square bracket. That is an array. So there are some non-primitive data types we have. Array can contain the same or different data types. Array value at the first element of an array is found at 0 index. So what this text is trying to say is that non-primitive data types are what? Modifiable. You can change non-primitive data type, and most especially the non-primitive data type we have are two, right? So there are two say non-primitive data types. So I'm going to put number one, an array. So this is example of array. Yes, this is example of array. I have all this rubbish. And also an object, right? An object. So this is it. These are the non-primitive data types we have. For example, function is also a non-primitive data type because it can change something that is inside the function. Alright, so here we have the main ones, which is array, and I say array, you can create an array using a square bracket with value inside it. And don't forget, here we are trying to access the first element inside an array, and the first element inside an array is referenced by the position, which is the index of that element. So that index of this output is 0. So the output is going to be output. And fruits, number one, which is banana right now, so we are going to change it to mango. This is exactly what we're trying to do in the string data type. Here is going to throw an error by mistake P, but I'm going to leave it as 10 just. So here, that is what I mean. Here we try to get this element, which is the first element, and this will not change the string. A string are immutable, right? Are immutable. So this is what we are trying to say. But right now here that you are seeing, now I try to access the second element inside an array and I change it. I change it to what? Mango. So modifying the second element as you are seeing. So now if I cancel the whole element, which is the whole array, which is fruits, so the output is going to be apple, mango, and cherry, right? So this is what we are going to see in our console. And the next one, which is the non-primitive data type, is objects. I know I'm too fast, so if you don't understand, ask in the comment section. So this is a person and his name is Alice, right? And his age of 25. The student is false. So as you are seeing here, I'm trying to cancel the person name, which is Alice, and then person that age is 26. Now I access the element inside the object and I change it. Now I modify it to 26 instead of 25. And now if I print the whole object, I'm going to see name Alice and age is 26 and your student is boss. So you can try to you know mess around with something here, like for example, try to say okay, first that it's going to give me the student. Aha, exactly what I want. So it's going to be false, right? So now it updates the output. The output is going to be true because now I set a student to false instead of this, right? And you're seeing the output. If I cancel the log, the whole object, they are going to see Alice name. You can decide to even change the Alice, person the name to Bob, of course. So consider the log person. In this case, Bob, the output is going to be Bob, right? So there's it. And you see this thing change to false is because it's after we print this. It's after we print the whole object and now we access the age and change it to 26. That is why now we see 26 here. So that is that. But the class is not doing it. That is why I say this class is going to be a bit longer. So if you stay enough, you can take a break and then come back and then we continue from where we stop. So let us keep moving. So there is something that I want to do right now. Just try to confuse something with this. So I'm going to have a word. I'm going to have something like I'm not going to create a function, so I don't even suggest me to create a function. I'm going to compare something like let's num1 equal to let us put them inside an array. Num2 I'm also going to assign an array, but I'm going to assign the same elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, that is what I want. So consider log num1 equal to num2. Output is false because they are different array object in the memory. As you are seeing, they are different array object in the memory. So in this one, I'm representing, I am assigning this thing to num1 and this one is num2. But don't forget, if we go back a little bit here, you are going to see something little bit because this thing is going to be num and num2, right? But output is false, that is output is going to be true here. So the output is going to be true because output is going to be true, of course. So that is going to be true because 10 is equal to 10. So that is why primitive data type are what are conferred by value, right? So this 10, this 10 are conferred by value. Why? That non-primitive data type are conferred by, you know, reference from where they store inside memory. So here I store something inside a different box in my memory of my computer, and also this one I stored it inside a different memory. So that is why we have this. It's false, right? But you see, they have different element inside them, but they are false. So this is only going to be true if I said, if I say, okay, you know, what I store inside my num1 is actually equal to what I store inside my num2. Enough. So good. So this will compare the reference, not the values, as you hear. So this will compare the reference, not the value. Even though the content of num1 and num2 are the same, they are different objects in memory. So that is what I'm talking about right now. So that's that. So let's continue moving. I can also, you know, give you a lot of example, but I think this example is a lot. If we have object 1 and object 2 as well, no, except this and object 2, so we try to compare them as well. So this will also give the same thing, object this equals to this. They will compare the reference, not the values, as you're seeing. So this is what we are talking about. So there's that. As I see now, we are trying to reach the conclusion. So conclusion: primitive data types are immutable and compared by value. That is primitive data type, while non-primitive data types are modifiable. Understand this difference is crucial for effective programming in JavaScript. So that is why I say you have to understand this. So this is summary. Primitive data types include string, numbers, booleans, non-defined, this, and the non-primitive data types include arrays and objects. Primitive data types are immutable and compared by value. Non-primitive data types are mutable and compared by reference, where they store inside memory. So this is what I'm talking about, right? So I think that is going to be the end of this class, because this class I think is going to be a bit longer. So if you didn't get anything from this class, I hope you get the difference between primitive and non-primitive data type. So I will see you in the next class, where we are going to be talking about data type. Oh, it's bullshit. We even talked about data type, but we are going to start with number data type, because this I remember in the beginning of the video I said we are going to be starting number data type, but this video is getting too long, so let us cut this video and then start with number data type in the next video, and see you in the next video.